Okay, so now before we move on to the actual discussion and demo about the MARMA, if अगर अभी किसी का कुछ पिछले सेशन में जो हमने डिस्कस किया था उससे संबंधित कोई विचार हो, कोई प्रश्न हो जो कि ब्रेक की वजह से रह गए हो तो अभी पूछ सकते हैं। हाँ जी, जरूर। So, अपनी तरफ से स्पष्टीकरण कर सकते हैं, लेकिन उन लोगों के लिए जो मायने रखते हैं जीवन में, एक बार ही कर दिया अच्छे से स्पष्टीकरण, उसके बाद अगर आपने देखा कि उसका कुछ रिजल्ट नहीं निकला तो बार बार स्पष्टीकरण करके आप अपना जो समता है, अपनी जो ट्रैंक्विलिटी है वो आप खत्म कर देंगे। एक बार आपने कर दिया फिर आपको क्लियर हो जाएगा कि इनको कितना उसमें से समझने को ये तैयार है या नहीं है। उसके बाद आपने अपने ऊपर काम करना है, बाकी जो लोगों ने करना है वो करते रहे। बट अगेन रिलेटिंग दैट टू जो पीछे एक और पार्टिसिपेंट ने पूछा था कि बहुत मुश्किल है, लेकिन ये पूरा जो जर्नी है ये कोई आसान जर्नी नहीं है, लेकिन बहुत फ्रूटफुल है। हर कदम जो इस पे लेंगे will add more joy to your life, that is for sure। अगर सही समझ के इस मार्ग पर चलना शुरू करेंगे तो एक एक कदम जीवन में और उत्साह, उल्लास, ऊर्जा भरेगा, निश्चित बात। Yeah.
Sir, I want to ask, what about this constant nagging doubt of why me? It is very easy to say we need to learn how to let go. As you are mentioning, it is very difficult also, but it is not impossible. But there is a constant conflict within one own person's mind, why me?
Yeah.
So how do you change your perspective to the question of why me? And
So,
it's not possible that every time you are able to change it into a positive perspective.
Yeah, so you should start asking why not me?
Okay. It could go either ways. I mean,
that was in a lighter way.
I mean, it can go either ways. Okay.
So
Yeah.
So life will start becoming a lot easier. I'm just straining to see you because of the light on in my face. But life starts becoming much easier when one has that understanding, that clarity to the depths of one's mind that whatever is happening in my life, I am 100% responsible for that. 100%. The problem is, yes, I'll just address that.
No, I'm sorry. See, I am not responsible if I have a child who's special needs. And that has changed my life 180 degrees. I can't say that to myself.
Yeah, so
I'm not responsible for having a special needs.
Yes. So I was doing this workshop in France. This is before COVID. And there was this young lady sitting right next to, we were all sitting on the ground. And there was this young lady sitting right in front of me, and the same concept was being discussed, that you have to take full responsibility of your life, etc. And I could sense from her face that she was very unhappy with what I was saying especially. And she raised her hand and she said, if I am to understand, you're saying that I am responsible for whatever is happening in my life? I said, yes, that is the essence of what I'm saying. And she was shaking with rage. She was livid with anger. She was, trembling. She said, I cannot accept this. She was all ready to just leave, it seemed. She was so unhappy with that response. So that was the first time ever in any of the sessions where one had experienced such an extreme reaction to this. So I said, okay, let me give it, put it in a different perspective, and then you can let me know if that resonates with you at all. So I said, would you be able to accept the present moment as it is unfolding? Would you be able to accept the reality of the present as it is unfolding? So she thought about that for a few seconds and she said, yes, I can accept that. I said, fine, then accept that. If you have a problem with not taking full responsibility for whatever is unfolding in your life, if you feel that is unfair, then just be in that acceptance, because the end result of both is acceptance. I'll just pause, just think about it. Are you ready to accept the present moment as it is unfolding? So that's a question. Are you? जो प्रेजेंट में जो भी अनफोल्डिंग हो रही है, are you ready to accept? It doesn't mean that you are not doing any effort to make situations different or make choices in future which will be different from the choices of the past. It doesn't mean that. Are you ready to be in acceptance of the present as it unfolds in front of you?
There is a fear inside.
Sorry?
There is a fear inside.
No, but first let's address this question and then we'll address what you're saying. Yes, ma'am. Are you ready to accept?
To a certain extent, not completely.
Okay, not completely. So you feel it should have been some other way, other than the way it is unfolding.
I am a mother of an autistic child, a girl child. Now the statistics are 1 in 1,000 are girls. You know, why me? 1. And to be able to accept such a big thing, I'm trying every single day. But if you say I've been able to do it, she's a 14-year-old child. No, I haven't been.
Okay. And the lady sitting next to you?
And that's why I come with the context that, you know, like looking at man's journey, 14 years of that one nagging question of why me? And the inability, I won't say it's not that she hasn't tried or people haven't tried, but still being unable to be equipped to let go of something that you never intended, and yet trying to, you know, somehow, like आपने बोला था कि वो बीज बोना जिसका essence मीठा हो. How in such a long journey would somebody be equipped to do that? And how do you battle that question of why me?
Yeah. So that would depend entirely on the perspective of life you want to take. So you have a choice again. So if it has to be a battle, it will be so. If that question of why me is assuaging your hurt or the feeling of injustice, then it can stay.
I'm sorry, sir, I don't feel it's
But
injustice.
let me just complete. So if you feel that it has been productive asking that question so far, and you got the answers, then that's a choice which you made in one particular way. And if you feel it has led to a productive outcome, then of course you're welcome to the choices. Each individual has complete freedom to make the choices that they make. So one stays with those choices. If, however, you want to experience certain different consequence, then you can consider different choice or different choices in terms of the approach being taken so far. Just something which I would propose, and you can see how that sits with you.
Actually, we don't feel like it's an injustice. What I was trying to actually address is the helplessness that a person feels in not being able to let go, not being able to come to terms and acceptance, as you had mentioned, and being somewhere in a state of limbo, where you do not really know what you should be doing. And when that is somehow, you are already in that situation, and then it also projects through you onto that child.
Yes.
So that helplessness, that inability, that there could be so many words to describe that feeling and that void that you have within you that you do not know how to fill, and yet you have the responsibility of filling that for another child. So how are we as adults equipped, and what can we do about that?
Right, okay. So first is to fill that void. And how can you fill that void? That sense of helplessness, that sense of emptiness. You can fill that void with a connection to the awareness of the now. And it's only when you experience it, only when you've experienced it. It's like, let me give an example, maybe a simile. So it's a room where all the windows and doors are completely tightly shut. Not a ray of light can come in. And the first time somebody opens the door slightly, a tiny ray of light comes in and dispels just that tiny bit of darkness. And that's a sense of accomplishment when you have that much of darkness being dispelled with that tiny little ray of light. And as you open that door more and more light will come in. And more the light that comes in, the more the darkness will dispel, because they don't coexist. And then gradually, as that experience becomes more positive, you then go on, open the windows also. You open all the windows, all the doors. Just expel the darkness completely. Is it difficult? Absolutely. Nobody said it's easy. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. It is possible. There will be challenges. It is possible. And it is fruitful. Once you understand how to undertake that journey within every step, I'm repeating myself, I know, but every step that you take on that journey with the right understanding is going to fill up that void more and more. Fill it up with more joy. It is possible to experience joy in spite of the challenges that you face. And it's only when you have that joy within, then that is what you will share with your loved one. Because it's only what you have that you can share. So if it's there's a bottle which is filled with ketchup, and there is a bottle filled with plastic bottle filled with ketchup and one with chocolate syrup. So if I squeeze the one with ketchup, I cannot expect chocolate syrup to come out, because it is filled with the ketchup. So what you have, that child will maybe not understand what you are telling the child. but he will be able to experience what you are experiencing with him. That is for sure. This is my understanding of the mind. I may not be as deeply educated or aware of this entire process of special needs children and how to deal with them, but my understanding about the mind enables me to make certain presumptions, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll be willing to completely change it according to what you share. So when that void is being experienced, then that void, those vibrations of that emptiness are getting passed on to the child. If I am experiencing misery, I will pass on those vibrations of misery to everyone who comes in contact with me, including the ones I love the most. Does that address your query, ma'am?
More or less, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
There's somebody behind you who had raised her hand, or in front of you. Okay, it's pretty dark in that corner. Yeah.
Actually, there have been incidences like, I'll just share an example. Something that has happened in your past. I'm a person who would, let go of things because it's in my nature that I can't keep things in my mind for so long, but I just want to let it go. It has happened once. I tried let it go. Again the same thing happened. Again I let it go. The third time it happened in such a manner that if I let it go now, I'm sure next time I won't be the same person. And apparently there's a fear that if I let it go, I'll again get back to square one and the things will be same again. And if I keep for my own strong stand for myself that I have to fight that situation, I don't want to forget it ever, because I forget that thing, I let it go, I won't be able to maybe
Learn from it.
no, it's not exactly learn. Basically it has taught me a lot, and now I think if I let it go now, again the same thing would happen for sure.
Then how have you learned from it?
I have learned it. I have learned that I have to be strong in a way that this thing doesn't harm me again mentally. But then the void that you just talked about, that will I think it will remain forever. Because if I forget the thing and I just say okay, हो गया, 4 बार हो गया, हो जाता है, I can accept. But then 3 times I've already, made myself understand that, holding on to grudges and, keeping these things in you, definitely it harms you. Nobody else but harms you. But now if you forget that again, I think that situation will arise again, and that again harm kar sakti hai mujhe. Or mujhe till the end, I will have to be strong for my opinion, to keep my opinion strong, that I will not let that thing happen with me ever. For that matter, I need to keep this thing in my mind till the time I am alive, so that my opinion and my stand stays strong. That is my, I can say, coping mechanism to that situation. I feel that.
So, somewhere I felt that there might have been a contradiction somewhere, because if I'm open to correction, where if I've let go of something, or as you said, you've learned from it. If I've learned from a situation for past occurrence, then I'll make sure that learning enables me not to make the same set of choices in the future, in the present and the future. That learning from the past has equipped me enough not to make the same choices in the present and the future. Right?
Sir, I'd like to add one more thing. It is basically not done from
my own my end. So, certainly there are a few things around you. You know you cannot go against. It is from the other side.
Yes.
From within the I'll just be very honest. Within the family, you just cannot sort of fight. Sometimes things conspire like that. Things happen like that you are not at fault, but you have to bear the brunt. I certainly feel that, and that is what has been happening. But then there's a time when you realize that this is enough, and I think now is the time to take stand. However, after that also there's a guilt of not listening to somebody around you. People start judging you for that matter, and then again the people do not understand what you are going through. So you have to be that way strong enough, and apparently it's not your fault since ever.
Yeah. So I'll just try to address it very briefly. So if you don't let go of the past, then the past will continue to strain us of energy, drain us of energy. It's a choice which we make. However, that doesn't mean that we don't learn from the past. We have learned our lessons from the past. Using those lessons, that wisdom of that learning, we ensure that we do not make those same unwholesome choices in the future, which includes now and in the future. If we do not let go of the past, then that past will continuously play havoc with our present as well as the future. So it's a choice. So if somebody decides to make that choice, then they have to be ready to have that happen as well, where that past will cause damage to their present as well as to the future. So it's again, the choices which we make. So without going too deep into the situation and what the situations are, because I think we have to move on. There's somebody else who raised their hands there. Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah. जैसे आपने कहा था कि एक्सेप्टेंस इज द की, मैंने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, ठीक है, कि मैंने बहुत सारी गलत चीज़ें की है, मैंने गलत डिसीजंस भी ले लिए है, मैंने उसके कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस पता भी है मुझे, और मैंने उसको एक्सेप्ट भी कर लिया कि ठीक है, मुझे ये इतने देर के लिए, इतने सालों के लिए या फिर ज़िंदगी भर के लिए इसके ये कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस मुझे झेलने हैं, ठीक है ना। मैम सेटल विद इट, मैंने इस सिचुएशन के साथ खुद का माइंड नाउ आई हैव पीस विद इट। बट फिर भी लोग जबरदस्ती आके ये बात फिर से रिपीट करवाते हैं, याद दिलाते हैं। मुझे पता है कि मैंने किया है, मुझे पता है मुझे ये झेलना है, एंड आई एम एग्री विद दैट। और मैंने ये भी एक्सेप्ट कर लिया है कि दुनिया जालिम है, ठीक है, आप कुछ भी कर लो, वो आपको कभी ऊपर नहीं आने देगी, ठीक है। मैंने ये भी एक्सेप्ट कर लिया कि लोग आके टॉर्चर करेंगे, ठीक है। बट फिर भी कहीं ना कहीं सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में वो ये चीज खलती रहती है हर बार कि अरे फिर से आके कोई बोल देगा। हाउ कैन आई कोप विद दैट? मुझे ये पता है कि लोग कहेंगे।
See your question. There was a similar question in the first half. I think somebody आपने पूछा था, आपने ही पूछा था, आपने ही पूछा था शायद, और किसी ने भी पूछा था, वही सेम चीज। तो वही जवाब है कि आपने अपनी तरफ से उनको स्पष्टीकरण भी दे दिया, ये आपने एक्सेप्टेंस में भी है आप, हाँ, कि ये मेरे चॉइसेस थे, उसके ये कॉन्सिक्वेंस हैं। उसके बाद भी लोग आके आपको हाँ, बार बार वो रिमाइंड करेंगे, हाँ, वो दर्द देंगे, तो आपको वो एक्सेप्ट करना है, वो भी उसके कॉन्सिक्वेंस का एक, हाँ, एक हिस्सा है।
ये भी एक्सेप्ट कर लिया
हाँ, तो फिर उन लोगों के प्रति मन में द्वेष ना हो, जो बहुत मुश्किल काम है। हाँ, कोई आपको दुख दे रहा है और आप आपके मन में उसके प्रति द्वेष ना हो, ये तो नेचुरल नहीं लगता। हाँ, लेकिन अगर नहीं होगा तो आप अपने आप को शांत बनाएंगे।
Sir, in that scenario, can we make distance from that people?
You can, if you feel that in spite of knowing the truth,
Yes.
in spite of knowing everything, and that person is taking joy
Yes.
in just giving you pain, if you have a choice, then keep a distance.
Sir,
If you have a choice.
sir, as I shared with you in the break, मेरी सोसाइटी में एक पर्सन है जिनको पता है कि कोई पास्ट में एक गलती हुई है अनइंटेंशनली, वो उस गलती को बारी बारी पब्लिक फोरम पे लाते हैं। मैं बहुत महीनों तक क्लैरिफिकेशन देता रहा पब्लिक को, फिर मैंने बोला कि बहुत हो गया, मुझे किसी को क्लैरिफिकेशन नहीं देना। देन बट देयर वाज एन अर्ज इनसाइड दैट आई हैव टू राइट बैक, आई हैव टू गिव एन आंसर। So what I started doing was, I used to type those answers on WhatsApp, and instead of sending to the public, I sent them to myself. And with time, I've come over that urge also. I just ignore that person. अगर वो मेरे सामने से भी निकल जाए, तो I treat it कि सामने हवा है, सिर्फ वो है नहीं. So just increase the distance from that person. Just don't react.
But even if it is
that
not
person,
possible,
other people also who were not able to understand our perspective, we maintain distance.
Yeah.
We let it go. Matlab, they
Can
are
I just add on to this? I believe whenever somebody is trying to pull you down, one must believe that you're already above them. Only then they can pull you down. And if you have realized, you have come in terms that you've done this wrong, you've moved ahead, and they are not moving ahead, then that's not your problem. Let them deal with it as it is their problem now. Your weight has already come off, and if they want to pick it up again and again for you, you don't have to go back and acknowledge that pain.
So out here, I'll just share a quick story. So this is a story of an animal farm. So animal farm में एक वहाँ पे अलग अलग जानवर रहते हैं. तो एक हाथियों का भी झुंड रहता है. तो हाथी जो सबसे बड़ा उसमें हाथी है, that you know the lead elephant, the king. He goes to the river every day, bathes himself, takes a good hour or so to cleanse himself, and then comes back to that farm, to that animal village. Now on the way back, there is this pig who's coming from his dwelling, which is a sty, and completely covered with slime. And the elephant sees the pig coming from a distance and he gets off the path. So he's taken 1 hour to cleanse himself. नहा धो के स्वच्छ होके आ रहे हैं और सामने से वो pig आ रहा है rolling with filth. So the elephant just gets off the path and lets the pig pass. Now the pig says, अरे इतना बड़ा हाथी मेरे से डर के हट गया. कल फिर से देखते हैं. So again he does that same thing. Elephant is really wise. वो फिर से हट जाता है. Within a few days, this becomes this news spreads like wildfire. कि देखो इतना बड़ा हाथी इस पिग से डर रहा है हर रोज, उसके लिए रास्ता छोड़ देता है. So it also reaches the family of the elephants. So the elephants get concerned. इसको क्या हो गया? ये तो बड़ा sane था पहले, ये कहीं spiritual journey पे तो नहीं आ गया. So they ask, भाई क्या हो गया? We are hearing this news. Said, see, I take 1 hour every morning to cleanse myself, and I come back home. And on the way, this dirty pig comes, and even if he touches me, then I'll have to go back again and spend another hour to cleanse myself again. So I get off the path and I let him pass. So it is for my benefit. It is not critical that I, stand my ground and I get him off. If I want, I can crush him. Yeah, but when it matters. So that comes to mind, that story. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to the इससे संबंधित और कोई किसी के मन में कुछ ख्याल नहीं है ना? This is addressed. Now we'll move on to what MARM is and how it's relevant for the students, our children who are dealing with these special challenges, and for ourselves also. So this is the sixth and the subtlest branch of Ayurveda. आयुर्वेद का सबसे सटल ब्रांच है, सबसे सटलेस्ट, सबसे सूक्ष्म अंग है आयुर्वेद का, which is lost. और मर्म का अर्थ ही है सूक्ष्म, सटल. सो कुछ टेक्स्ट में तो इतना लिखा है कि करीब 2 करोड़ से ज्यादा मर्म पूरे शरीर पे है. बट द मोर एक्सेप्टेबल टेक्स्ट दे टॉक अबाउट around 8,000 major marm in the body, and out of that also there are 108 marmams. What are the marmams? Marmams are points across the body which are junctions where flow of energy, life energy or energy flows through those channels. Now, they can be nadis, junctions of nadis, etc. But wherever there is a junction, the major ones are 108 and the minor ones altogether would be in excess of 8,000. Some texts also talk about 2 crore in numbers, which means they're like all over the body, inside and outside. So, the marm have various functions. The basic function is to receive energy and to pass it on, and there are other functions also, like if the energy received is lacking, certain marms are there which will have the capacity to change that energy, heighten it and then transmit it forward. There are certain marms which have the possibility of taking the toxic energy and eradicating it, taking it out of the system and passing on the filtered clean energy onto the organs or parts of the body for which they are responsible. So like multiple functions. The marmam, or these junctions, or there are different channels, nadis etc. running through the body, जहाँ पे एनर्जी इज फ्लोइंग. कहीं पे ब्लॉकेज हो गया तो वो मर्म जो पार्ट्स को, जो ऑर्गन्स को एनर्जी सप्लाई करता है, उन पार्ट्स को एनर्जी सप्लाई गेट्स डिमिनिश्ड, डिप्लीटेड और स्टॉप्स. So initially if it's due to lifestyle related issues, it might get diminished over a period of time, then depleted, and it can also be completely stopped in case there is any trauma to a particular marm. Trauma by way of injury, accident, which is related to a fall or maybe a fight, a blow in some way. So what the process of marma healing is, manipulation of those afflicted points so that it can enable the opening of those blockages and allow free flow of energy once again to those parts, those organs. So in the case, and each point can be manipulated in about 48 different combinations. So there are 4 pressures and there are 12 different applications that you can give to each point. So 12 into 4, 48 ways in which a marm can be manipulated. So a lot of people immediately when they hear about it, then what comes to their mind is the commonly known process of acupuncture or acupressure rather. So those are all over the past 1,000+ years, as Ayurveda spread with the teachings of Buddha across from India to China and then from China all the way up to Japan. Those are offshoots of MARM which happened along the way. Yeah? So they are very limited in their application. So for example, in acupressure, the pressure which you can apply will be largely in one direction. Mostly. It will be very limited. There won't be 48 different combinations which you can do for one point. So that's limited. I'm sure it has its benefits also, but it's very limited in its scope. MARMA, in fact, is very dynamic, very versatile, and highly effective in many situations, many health challenges, including the ones faced by the special needs children. It can provide energy to the centers of the brain which have got afflicted. Now that affliction is, from whatever little research which I'm aware of, it could be during the pregnancy. There's some damage to the fetus, some way or the other, or during the process of childbirth, or subsequently also in some cases. Now, there could be other reasons also, which I am not aware of, but largely these are the three reasons that I am aware of, in which certain centers of the brain, they get impacted and they do not get the energy which will enable optimal functioning. With the application of MARM, those centers gradually start receiving the energy gradually, and depending on the severity of a condition, it would take that much time for the impact to be tangible or visible. For special needs children, one normally takes a period of about 6 months or so on a regular basis. If the applications are given, then there is some tangible change which starts occurring to certain aspects of their life. It doesn't mean that all aspects of their existence will have a complete transformation in 6 months, but certain aspects will have certain tangible, visible changes which will start appearing. And this is something which has to go on for those changes to deepen. Because the most difficult, even in with the application of MARM, the most difficult conditions to treat are where the functioning of the brain is afflicted due to whatever afflictions possible, which we've discussed previously. So this is the process of the MARM, how it is done, primarily how it is given to the special needs kids. I'll share with you, but before that, there are 108 major ones. 107 are supposed to be on the body. 108th is considered to be the mind, which means that with the mind also you can open up those blockages. Now this is something which I've experienced myself, opened up my own blockages using the mind many years back just with meditation. So it's extremely powerful and it is transformational. It's a transformational experience. So 27 years back, till 96, I couldn't cross my right leg. People who know me for a long time, they're aware of that story. But since many of you are not, so I'm just sharing this with you to give you an idea about the power of the mind. How the mind is so versatile, so dynamic. It can work wonders with your own body. And then of course, if you go deeper further, if you take a deeper dive, you can use it also for impacting others. So I couldn't cross my right leg. I had a meniscus tear from my student time. There was an injury. I had a lower back problem and a sciatica. And for 5.5 years, I couldn't sit on a chair, or if I would sit on an elevated chair or a couch, not more than 15-20 minutes. I just couldn't sit. Sitting like this, impossible. Impossible. I couldn't cross my right leg for more than 1 minute. I would, I would get that sharp stabbing pain as if someone's taken an ice pick and driven it from one side of my knee out the other. So this is my right knee. So crossing it and sitting like in front of you was completely unthinkable for me. And I had reconciled to living life like this. This is way back in 96, after trying everything that was available. And just then I came to know from a very dear friend about the practice of Vipassana, and I went for it without knowing what benefit I'll get, with an open mind. And by the 8th day, I was sitting like this in the same posture for 1 hour. 1 hour without opening my leg, without moving my body, by the 8th day. And when you go within, then you see those blockages and you're able to cleanse them using your mind. It doesn't happen in the very first retreat. It doesn't happen for everybody as easily. That also I realized later on. It takes time. It takes time, and it takes a lot of diligence. But if you are motivated enough, if you have that clarity that so far and no more, that you want to take charge of your own peace and tranquility, then no power on this creation can stop you. If you don't feel that motivated, if you don't think that life can change, and if you feel that this is the way it is, and somewhere beyond the clouds somebody has decided my fate and there is nothing in my hands, then it shall be so. No power in this creation can come and usher in the change that you would like, but you're not ready to put in the effort to change that. So, and that holds true for a small child also. If a small child is ready to do something, then he will do it, he or she will do it. If not, then you can try all the threads and all the Sam, Dam, Dandabhai way, maybe till the time he is smaller than you in size, he might accept your proposal, but the moment he starts becoming bigger, he'll just throw it all out of the window. Yeah, so it's all about how receptive, how ready you are for change. So that's as far as the mind is concerned. So 108 major ones, 107 on the body, outside and inside, and 108th is the mind, and the most powerful of all of them. So use them for specific ailments, and their manipulation can give us very phenomenal results. So what we can and what we do, part of that protocol, I'll demonstrate for whoever would like to volunteer, be the guinea pig, and come forward. Then they can come here. They'll have to lie down on their stomach and experience what is to be done. Of course, they'll have to take off their jacket also, or they don't have to take off the jacket, because it's just a demonstration. So the idea is to share with you that it is a painless process. One, it is a non-invasive process. Please don't prod others to come. If you want, you should come yourself. So there's a lady sitting at the back, and she is prodding somebody in the corner to go. Yes. You want to volunteer? Yeah, please come. Okay, so you just have to open the chetani. Yeah. Yeah. Take off your glasses, lie down on your stomach. Keep wearing it tight. No, lie down, lie down. Lie down in shavasana. So, partially shavasana. So, there are these 4 points on the spine where this is given. Here, 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 and the sacrum. Yeah? So, these 4 points it's given, and it has to be given with the right pressure, because in between there is one point just below the first point which is very tender. So when you come down with the pressure, you have to ease the pressure from there, because that is another very major center, and if the pressure is too much, then it can impact the speech if there's too much pressure given there. Okay. So you can even put your forehead on this. Yeah. So you have to get the measure right also. Okay, so I'll go all the way till here. Okay? Okay? Okay, so I won't go all the way till there, because obviously she's now in a bit of a dilemma. So I'll just stop after the third one, and then maybe when another volunteer comes, and then you have to be quiet when you're doing it. Yeah, you can't be moving or gossiping. And then right on top of the sacrum. Similarly, yes. Are you awake? Okay. So, did it pain? Okay. Yeah, so you can move. Sorry?
Like, how can we learn or how can we do that with our kids? Like, as you said, the pressure should be the right amount, or they said.
Yeah, so for that you have to experience the pressure on yourself, because once you experience the pressure on yourself, right now I'm just showing what is done, the procedure, and then of course there are other ones around the head also, which are given. So the pressure is very, very, the 4 levels of pressure. Yeah, please. Yeah.
So you were doing it directly on the spine?
On the spine. So this is what's done on the spine. There are others which are done on the head, and also 1 or 2 on the foot.
Was it circular or in a particular direction?
Yeah, they're all in a particular direction. Yeah, they're all in. It's all in a particular direction. Yeah. Was there any pain anywhere? Okay. So that's the, yeah.
Is it a fixed duration that this much has to be done, or it can be a progressive way?
So it can be. So in an emergency, it can be given a couple of times in a day. In an emergency, it can be given after every half an hour, in fact. Yeah, but those are emergency situations in which that can be done. For special needs children, until unless they're having certain other ailments, from time to time. There are no specific protocols related to their condition, because what is being done for them is more like a long, drawn-out process which could take years. Not only a few months, it becomes visible, the changes. And there are certain aspects of their being which start responding more favorably than certain others. So maybe the speech, the hearing, the gait, all will respond differently depending on what their affliction is, the severity of their affliction. So as far as I know, in modern science, so far they have interventions which can enable them to maintain functionality to a large extent, not to reverse. Is there any intervention to reverse? So there's nothing to reverse their condition at all. Sorry. With MARM, that possibility exists. The percentage would vary depending on each condition. And also, so as they cross the age of, let's say, 20, so the duration which will then be taken for any intervention would be that much longer. So the earlier one starts, the outcomes would be that much more positive and more tangible earlier.
For the problems which is acquired, like it's not a developmental thing which has happened after a certain age, like we have adult cases of orthopedic issues or speech issues even. So for that, the onset of the problem and this intervention started, that can be a factor, like what we see in other intervention programs, that the spontaneous recovery period is there. Like if there is a stroke at a certain age, and we start putting the intervention within 6 months, we get better results for the studies.
Exactly, yes.
So like that.
So also with this. So the earlier the intervention happens, the better, and even it is very useful for stroke patients also, and who are paralyzed as well. And it has very good outcomes with them as well.
So, like we are not expert to give, like she said, that we are not just experienced. So is it something training has been given for the same? Like how, if we want to learn, even for the personal thing, like my husband has spondyloarthritis, and like there is no now, every medicine has stopped. Nothing is getting benefit because there are a lot of side effects with the medicines.
Yes.
So he has to go with the Ayurveda. He went to Patanjali ashram, but the things which we cannot carry out. So something feasible, or whom to connect so that I can learn that same, or somewhere to approach for the same.
Yeah, so it's something which takes a while to master or to learn, and to learn properly, because for example, I mentioned one point, just below the nape of the neck, where the pressure has to be eased off when doing this. Like that, there are certain other points also where if you put excessive pressure, then it can be counterproductive. Another point just below the, just above the base of the neck.
If it is C4,
Where
C5.
you put too much pressure, and the tongue will just jut out. It will just hang out. It can't go back in. There's nothing which medical science will do which can just make it withdraw. So then you have to press the counter point. There will always be a counter point which will have to be manipulated to then make it withdraw. So that's why it should be done with a lot of care.
Whom to connect?
So whom to connect?
Whom to connect for the same, like
So
through
see,
you?
this was the idea of this program, this session was to not to give any training.
Yeah.
Because the idea was not to give training, but primarily it was to kickstart a process wherein the intervention is offered to the children of the special needs, children with special needs in this institution, and that continues for maybe 6 months, 7 months, and we see what kind of benefits start accruing, and then it moves on. For the parents and the caregivers, it was primarily the other aspects also. So the idea of the whole session is create awareness of 3 things. One is that this exists, it's beneficial, and it's getting documented. Second is the aspect of how to work on one's own self, because that's of prime importance, as the discussion that we had about, the chaos within and how that should be addressed, because the vibrations don't stay limited to the framework of this body, and the people you are coming in contact with will also experience your vibrations, positive as well as negative. So to work on yourself, because if you don't, then over a period of time, so when I do this practice, I ensure that I cleanse myself. And there are moments, there are days when I haven't done it, then I tend to experience the pain or the dense pain bodies, as they are called, on myself as well. So it's something which you have to be very careful about, that you have to cleanse yourself also. Otherwise, it will start impacting you. You're doing, a lot of good, and in that process, if you're not careful, then it will leave traces on your body as well. Almost all conditions. See, mind की जो conditions होती हैं उसमें तो you require more of mind-related processes like meditation and maybe hand-holding, coaching, etc. Physical process है उसमें तो entirely ये है, but then they are very closely interlinked. जो शरीर पे भी किसी को मान लीजिए बैक प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, शाइटिका हो रही है, तो वो क्रिएट तो माइंड से ही हुआ है. So it's all very closely interlinked. अलग अलग उसके प्रोटोकॉल्स होते हैं. So there are certain points for the heart, for protection of the heart, which are there on the sole of the feet, which are there on the toes. So toes के ऊपर heart से भी हैं connected, like that. Hearing से, bladder से related है अपने पैरों में, spread across. वो और अपनी हेल्थ को बेटर करने के लिए कर सकता है. It should be done by somebody who's trained, so that अपनी volition तो हमारी है कि हम अच्छा करें. उस enthusiasm में we can actually do some damage, and it's the damage which cannot be then reversed by going to a doctor, because they will not understand what's happening.
Yes.
No registered certification. They do offer in some training certifications, etc. Word of mouth. Unstructured. Right now it's unstructured. I think maybe it's just a matter of another 5 to 10 years before it starts. Yes, it is. And not knowing the precautions that need to be taken, and very easy to then pull away saying that this is already so complex. It's a leap of faith. One or two which I can share with you in terms of the findings it was done in a scientific manner. So I think it was done over a period of a year and a half or 2 years, many years back, 10 years plus back. And different conditions, so male, female, very scientifically it was done. And what was impacted, what percentage was impacted, to what percentage the changes were occurred, and what percentage was not impacted. So all those are, in detail it's given. Yeah. It is not acupressure. Yes. Surface spin. Also acupressure में manipulation होती है, just pressing mostly. Either you use a stick or a pencil or they have that wooden thing जिससे वो press करते हैं. That is the dipstick. Yeah. You can, when I share those findings with you, then you'll see that it's pretty structured. And if you keep them, or if you know specific children have certain specific challenges, maybe speech impairment or hearing impairment or gait is a challenge, or whatever. You know, and then you already list, okay, for A, these are the challenges, let's see how they are getting addressed. And then you track it over a period of 6 months, and then you see even if there is a 5% difference, 10% difference. 5-10% difference also is quite substantial, because it offers hope that if in 5-6 months there is this much of a change, then if we persist with it, then there is every possibility that it will deepen further.
Offers hope, where I would say there is none.
Yeah.
That is huge.
The purpose of this therapy is to increase the energy flow, or any other?
Yes, to get the body into its optimal balance. So the balance gets thrown. Now it could be thrown out of, it would get imbalanced due to various lifestyle issues, due to injuries, old age, etc. So when you practice it, it gets everything in harmony again gradually. Certain ailments it will reverse, maybe bring them close to what their optimal working is, depending entirely on the damage which has happened and the age of the person. So if somebody is very deep into dementia and is already in their 80s, maybe the benefit might be limited, or somebody's got other brain-related issues which are at a very advanced stage. The benefits would be there, they'll be slow in coming and marginal. So, okay. So coming back to the all-important, so if it's like a pyramid, if the concept of living a vibrant life is like a pyramid, on top of the pyramid, the most important aspect is the mind and how to energize the mind. Right? Next level would be the practice of MARMA. Then next level below that would be changes in lifestyle, food related, incorporating other healthy practices like pranayam, yoga, etc. So this is completely, it's not written elsewhere, it's my perspective. Where right on top is your mind and how deeply you've undertaken the journey within the mind to make it really vibrant and energized. Next is MARMA, which one could do. Then it is this, and this is completely aligned with nature. So you're aligning yourself more and more with the natural rhythm of existence. And the more you are able to do it, the more vibrancy you are able to experience in life, without dependency on any external intervention, until unless there is an emergency. So no medication is required, any minor niggles, problems, minor or major, no medication. You can use just this if you are aware enough of what is happening within the framework of this body. You have a good understanding, and everybody with some amount of practice can develop that awareness, that sensitivity about their own self at least. And of course, if you are vibrant enough, then that vibrancy will not remain limited just to you. It will spread to, it will be experienced by all those who are coming in contact with you, including your child. Perhaps the most loved person in any individual's life is their child. Maybe the spouse and the child, or the child and the spouse, in that order. So we can practice for 10 minutes if anyone would be interested. Yeah. So if you'd like to practice for 10 minutes the process of gaining mastery over the mind, ideally it is coupled with a walking meditation first. So if we have time, it's 1:25. How much time? When do you want to wrap? 10 minutes, then we'll just have time for this. We can't do walking meditation. So we just do this. Okay.
Stay back for 1:25?
It's 1:25 right now. So how many of you would like to do both walking meditation followed by the sitting? Okay, so please raise your hands higher. Okay, so that's a large chunk. So because the walking meditation should be should happen earlier, yeah, to then feel the impact of the same when you do the sitting. So just if you can keep your phones, etc. on your seat and leave the seat. So first we will do the walking meditation. We can have the lights on, but people don't bump into each other while. So please do remember where you are sitting, so that you don't end up sitting in somebody else's seat, and then the meditative mood goes for a toss when you realize that your seat has been taken by somebody else. So first we'll do the walking meditation for about 10 minutes after the lights come on. Yeah. Lights. So how it's done while the lights are coming on is you just decide, okay, so the floor is going to be cold, so a couple of you can choose the stage. Maybe 2 or 3 people can choose the stage there. 2, 3, 4 can use that. Just be careful, don't topple over while you're doing this. And a couple can use the stage as well. And that will open up the space here. So you can walk up and down the aisles, or you can go around also, or both. So the idea is 10-15 steps in any one direction. You just walk 10, 15, 20, whatever, and then come back. Retrace it. If you have a limitation of space, if you have a larger space you can use, then of course till the end. But yeah, or you can going around in a circular manner would be an issue, because somebody might be walking very slow, and you'll find yourself getting frustrated as to why he or she is walking so slow, and you don't want to overtake and all. Anyway, so you find your comfort, just don't bump into people, and look only 3-4 steps ahead of you on the ground. So your eyes, it should be like a tunnel vision, 3-4 steps ahead on the ground. No looking to the left or the right, just straight ahead, 3-4 steps like this. Don't bend your head too much, otherwise by the end of it you'll have a pain in the neck, literally. So just lower your eyes slightly so that you can look 3-4 steps ahead. And just follow my instructions. And everyone ready? And you have to walk very slowly, as slowly as possible. Keep your gaze lowered. Each step should just be about 8 to 9 inches apart. Keeping your gaze lowered, not looking around the room anywhere. Just looking at the ground, 3 to 4 steps ahead of you. Please start. And when you do this, do it so slowly that when your foot moves, the rear foot gets off the ground, then your toe, your heel has left the ground, the toe gets put on the ground, weight shifts forward, rear heel comes up, foot moves forward, you keep your foot on the ground, weight gets transferred to the front leg, and again the rear foot comes off. Do it as slowly as you can. The slower you do it, the more deeply you will be able to experience what's happening in the foot at play, in the leg where the weight is being transferred, in the ankles, in the knees. Initially, when you walk so slowly, you might feel a bit imbalanced. It takes a few minutes to get that right. So don't worry about that. At all times, keep your body relaxed. Without looking around, walking as slowly as possible, with complete awareness of each step that you're taking, and within each step, how the different processes are at play. The foot coming off the ground, moving forward, getting placed on the ground in front, the weight getting transferred to the leg that has come in the front, and as the weight gets transferred, how it moves from the ankle to the knee, thigh to the hip. And then again the rear heel comes off and you move the foot forward, place it on the ground, transfer the weight which gets felt in the ankle, in the knee, in the hip and above. And then again slowly you raise your rear foot, keep it forward, transfer the weight, get very focused on what you're experiencing within the framework of this limited space, just the legs, just the feet, just the ankles, just the knees. Remain very focused on each and every moment, each and every movement. So the slower the movement, the easier it shall be to keep track of the same very minutely. And the mind might wander away in between. Bring it back. Bring it back. To your legs, to your feet, to the movement of the body. As you do this, very slow, very deliberate walking, remaining very aware of each and every movement that you're making. Continue to look down, just 3-4 steps ahead. Now, if you can, if you are able to be aware of the movement, the sensation in your ankles, in your knees, as you walk, and see if you can feel any sensations in the belly or even above the belly as you're walking. Thoughts might come in between. Just accept that they are there. Bring your mind back to this process, getting established in awareness. With the slow walking that you're doing. Very slowly start walking back to your seat, remaining very focused on that process even as you start making your way back to your seat. As you get off the steps, as you bend, as you sit, just be aware of each and every movement that you're making. Sit with your eyes closed and stay with the awareness. Take off your glasses. And now, with your eyes closed, focus your entire attention at the entrance of the nostrils. at the small area below the nostrils. Keeping track of the natural, effortless breath that comes in and goes out on its own by itself. Do not make an effort to breathe in or out. The natural breath comes in, goes out effortlessly on its own by itself. Do not try to regulate it. Do not try to control it in any way. Just be a mere witness to this natural process of respiration as it happens by itself. Keeping track of each and every breath that comes in and goes out by itself. Do not add any kind of verbalization or chanting or counting with the breath. Just the pure breath. Do not add any visualization of any religious symbol, of any god, goddess or saintly person, or any scenic beauty of any kind. No imagery, no verbalization, just the pure breath. Keep track on each and every breath. Don't let a single breath go past without your knowledge. Remaining very alert, very attentive. बीच में मन भटकेगा और जैसे ही भटके तो बहुत धीरज के साथ उसको फिर से सांस पर लेकर आए और फिर से कोशिश करें कि मन लंबे समय तक सांस पर ही टिका रहे। स्वाभाविक सांस इस समय जैसा है उसको वैसा ही जानना है, एक साक्ष्य की तरह, एक विटनेस की तरह, बिना उसको नियंत्रित किए हुए, बिना किसी विशेष प्रकार की सांस के लिए कोई प्रेफरेंस रखे हुए, केवल जाने। कोशिश करें कि ये जानकारी लंबे समय तक बनी रहे, एक एक सांस की जानकारी, एक भी सांस बिना जानकारी के जाने न पाए। भीतर आने वाला सांस, बाहर जाने वाला सांस इस समय जैसा है वैसा ही जाने। छोटा है, लंबा है, हल्का है, भारी है, जैसा भी है केवल जाने। खूब सतर्क, खूब सजग, अपने सांस के प्रति सजगता, एक एक सांस की जानकारी बड़े ध्यान से, बड़े धीरज के साथ बनाकर रखें। धीमे से आंखें खोलेंगे। अब नजरें नीचे रखकर बिना आसपास देखे हुए कुछ देर और स्वाभाविक सांस को जाने, शरीर को भी स्थिर रखें। किसी का कोई प्रश्न हो, कुछ बोलना चाहें, कुछ शेयर करना चाहें, कुछ क्लैरिफाई करना चाहें, कर सकते हैं। This is something which you should definitely do every day. And if the challenge of your child is not, it's just preliminary, it's not or up to moderate, intermediate, and they follow instructions, then gradually introduce it to the child. Maybe just for half a minute, 1 minute, but do it yourself first. As you start doing it yourself, you experience that stillness, you will experience a different realm of living, of different realm of life. And as that deepens, you will find yourself better equipped. Somebody, I think during the discussion used that term that we don't feel that we are equipped enough. When you have that sense of being present or being balanced, then you will find that you are better equipped to deal with any situation that life has to throw at you, including what you're going through on a daily basis. So if there are any questions which anyone has, please feel free to share. If not, then we can conclude. Okay, so we'll conclude, and in conclusion I'll just say it's a great, बहुत मुश्किल से मिलती है मनुष्य की योनि, बहुत दुर्लभ है मनुष्य योनि, बहुत पुण्य किए हैं, बहुत मेरिट्स अक्यूमुलेट हुए होंगे कितने असंख्य जन्मों के पश्चात तब मनुष्य योनि मिलती है, और मनुष्य योनि मिलने के बाद फिर लाइफ में बहुत सारे ब्लेसिंग्स हैं। वो हमारे ऊपर है कि हम सारे ब्लेसिंग्स को काउंट करते हैं कि नहीं, लेकिन बहुत सारी ब्लेसिंग्स हैं लाइफ में, चैलेंजेस भी हैं लेकिन ब्लेसिंग्स भी बहुत हैं, क्योंकि ऐसे बहुत से लोग हैं इस दुनिया में जो हमसे ज़्यादा जिनके चैलेंजेस हैं उनको ये सारी ब्लेसिंग्स नहीं मिली जो हमको मिली हैं। तो वो ब्लेसिंग्स काउंट कीजिए, और उन ब्लेसिंग्स के साथ एक ये ब्लेसिंग अगर आप और जोड़ देंगे कि कैसे अपने जीवन में सुख शांति नियमित रूप से उसका आह्वान कर सकें। जितनी ज़्यादा सुख शांति का अनुभव आप करेंगे उतनी ज़्यादा शांति का अनुभव वो सब व्यक्ति करेंगे जो आपके संपर्क में नियमित रूप से आते हैं, इंक्लूडिंग योर चिल्ड्रन। तो ज़रूर अभ्यास को अपने जीवन में जोड़ें। इट विल बी द बिगेस्ट ब्लेसिंग दैट यू कैन incorporate in your life, and it can be a transformational process to incorporate in your life in more ways than you can imagine. So I congratulate you once again for getting this human life with all the blessings that you already have, regardless of what the situation, the challenges that are there. Many blessings. Look at them, count yourself fortunate, and add to that good fortune by adding such a practice to your daily routine and fill your life with joy. Thank you so much.